We do have to get to some breaking news now coming into our newsroom. We're still managing to monitor the situation that's happening right now in the Middle East. I want to put this up on your screen. This is a live vantage point that we have there in Tel Aviv as we've been watching this shot throughout the day. As you can see, many protesters taking to the streets at this point. We know that those protesters there are demonstrating in Tel Aviv. This as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to chair a cabinet meeting to discuss the full reoccupation of the Gaza Strip. I do want to listen in here for just a second. We'll continue to add context, though. I just want to see if we can hear anything on this feed. We did just want to play out just a few of those sounds there so you can see the sights and things that are happening right now in Tel Aviv in response to this news. I want to put up this tweet, though, that we have from our partners there at Fox News. Lucas Tomlinson, the reporter, saying, breaking, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu tells Bill Hemmer, we intend to control all of Gaza, but adds we don't want to keep it. They want the air forces to take over after Hamas is removed from power. Also want to put up this update that we have as well from Fox News that says that in same exact quote, we intend to take over. The Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said this to Bill Hemmer, saying that they aim to control Gaza in order to liberate its people from the grips of Hamas and end the threat of the terror regime against his country. And so, again, this is still breaking news coming into our newsroom. We're getting all of these details, but I want to continue to give you just a bit more context. We did hear from Fox News. They're putting this report out as well, saying that Israeli Prime Minister has confirmed his plan for Israel to take full control of the Gaza Strip, marking a major shift in policy nearly 2 decades after Israel withdrew from the region. Of course, they went on to say that they are doing this in order to assure their security, remove Hamas, and enable the population to be free of Gaza and pass it to civilian governance. I want to put that live shot back up there in Tel Aviv as we're seeing these protesters now taking to their streets in response to some of this news. And ultimately, Fox News goes on to say that while Netanyahu insisted that Israel is not planning to occupy Gaza for the long term, he emphasized the need for lasting security presence and the dismantling of Hamas. He says, quote, the only way that you are going to have a different future is to get rid of this neo-Nazi army. The Hamas are monsters. This, of course, all happens nearly 2 years after the October 7th attacks, the terror attacks. About 50 hostages, both dead and alive, do still remain trapped in Gaza at this point. Of course, Netanyahu's plans also come as ceasefire negotiations with Hamas have stalled out in recent weeks. U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, has previously expressed optimism about those talks, but progress has since stalled. We do know that Israel's security cabinet is set to meet today to discuss the future of the war and the worsening humanitarian situation as well there in the Gaza Strip. The United Nations and other international groups have warned of famine and deteriorating access to necessary supplies there in the region. Earlier this week, Bill Hemmer visited a food distribution center that was run by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation and a U.S. and Israeli-backed aid organization. And despite clear logistical issues, Bill Hemmer did report that thousands of people were still able to receive food at that site. But of course, the United Nations Human Rights Council has called for the immediate dismantling there of some of those groups. They've accused the organization of firing civilians and committing war crimes as well. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated with this situation, but this is what we're watching right now live out of Tel Aviv. You can still hear the crowds there as I bring up the audio, gathering and making sure that their voices are heard, demonstrating as Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister there in Israel, is expected to chair that cabinet meeting to discuss the full reoccupation there of the Gaza Strip. So wanted to make sure we brought you that update here on Live Now from Fox. If any more news about this comes into our newsroom, we'll make sure that we're able to put it up there. Also want to throw up this post that we have there from Fox's Trey Inc. saying very strong interview that was conducted by Bill Hemmer. He asked Prime Minister Netanyahu about a variety of topics, including Israeli plans to occupy Gaza, the humanitarian situation for Palestinians, and the fate of the hostages and accusations of genocide. It just aired moments ago on Fox News. We're still working to see if we can get some of those sound bites as well from this conversation, but you can see it there on the left. That's a screen grab of the conversation there that they had, saying that we will intend to take over the control of Gaza and then turn it over to civilian governance.